We stand on the precipice of a truth long buried, a history whispered only in the deepest shadows. It's a story not found in the gilded pages of our textbooks, but etched into the very foundations of civilization itself. Imagine, if you will, the dawn of empires, not born of noble ambition or divine right alone, but forged in a crucible of something far more primal, far more binding. This is the genesis of power, a shadow play enacted at hidden altars where the very life force of leaders was pledged. And real quick, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. Now let's keep going. These weren't just ceremonies, they were cosmic transactions, deep covenants made not just with the earth, but with forces unseen. The first breath of a dynasty, the securing of its lineage, was often sealed with more than just a handshake. Think of ancient kings, their hands stained not just with the ink of decrees, but with something far more potent. It was a foundation laid in blood, a sacrifice that promised dominion, but at what cost? This primal act, shrouded in ritual, created an unseen tether, a relentless gravity that continues to pull at our present moment. You now glimpse the shadow genesis of dynasties, where power was not merely seized, but summoned through intimate vows. But this foundational act, this desperate plea for lasting authority, begs a deeper question. What was actually exchanged at these clandestine ceremonies? In the next section, we'll delve into the altar of first blood, exploring the terrifying nature of that initial, sacred offering. The very air around these ancient altars seemed to hum with a forgotten energy. Picture it, a place set apart, perhaps a grotto carved from the living rock, or a clearing deep within a forest untouched by human hands. Here, under the cloak of night, with only the flicker of torches to cast dancing shadows, the architects of future empires performed their most sacred and most terrifying rites. It wasn't about conquest in the traditional sense, but about forging an unbreakable link. The first blood was not spilled carelessly. It was a deliberate, almost sacred act, a symbol of ultimate commitment. The intention behind it was to bind not just the individual, but their entire legacy to a promise. This offering was a conduit, a point of transfer, where the raw vitality of life itself was given to secure dominion and ensure the perpetuation of their rule. It was a gambit so profound, so intimate, that it would echo through generations. This was the price of entry into the pantheon of history, a gruesome initiation into the echelons of lasting power. But what did this first blood truly represent? Was it a literal sacrifice, or did it signify something more profound, a metaphorical pouring out of essence? In the next section, we will dissect the Crimson Contract, unraveling the terms of this ancient, chilling agreement. The ink on our modern contracts fades, but the crimson script of ancient pacts remains indelible. Imagine a document not written on parchment, but woven into the very fabric of existence, signed not with a quill, but with life itself. This was the Crimson Contract, the unspoken agreement that underpinned the rise of dynasties. It was a binding that went beyond mere earthly ambition, reaching into the metaphysical realms. This wasn't a contract of mutually assured destruction, but of mutually assured creation and control. The blood spilled was a signature, imbuing eternal obligations. It was a promise to uphold certain principles, to serve specific energies, and in return, the bloodline was blessed with an enduring influence. This power was not derived from popular will, but from an ancient, cosmic ledger. The weight of such a promise, made with such a profound offering, could not be overstated. It wasn't a fleeting alliance, but a deep, soul-level commitment. But what were the specific clauses of this blood-bound deal? What unseen forces were partners in this infernal agreement? In the next section, we will explore the echo of ancestral pacts, revealing how these ancient bargains continue to shape our present. The whispers of the past are not mere echoes, they are active forces carrying the weight of ancient commitments. Think of a generational curse, but instead of misfortune, it bestows a peculiar kind of power, a destiny forged in ancient pacts. These ancestral agreements, sealed in blood and ritual, are not relics of a bygone era. They are the invisible threads that continue to guide and govern the unfolding of our collective lives, resonating through our very DNA. This isn't a simple inheritance of wealth or title. It's an inheritance of energetic obligations, a subtle programming that influences choices, desires, and even the circumstances that befall us. The pacts made by distant ancestors create a resonant frequency, a spiritual gravitational pull that directs the energy of their descendants, often without their conscious awareness. This is the subtle, yet undeniable, echo of ancestral pacts at play. These echoes can manifest in uncanny similarities across generations, in recurring patterns of success or struggle, or in an inexplicable pull towards certain paths. It's as if a blueprint, laid down centuries ago, is still being meticulously followed. But how do these ancient pacts exert such control over our current lives? In the next section, we will delve into the forbidden knowledge of bloodlines, uncovering how this lineage is meticulously guarded. The blood that flows through our veins carries more than just oxygen and nutrients. It carries memories, patterns, and the indelible imprint of every ancestor who ever lived. This is the fundamental secret of bloodlines, a truth deliberately obscured, for in understanding it, we unlock the potential to transcend inherited limitations. The knowledge of bloodlines is not merely genealogical, it is a spiritual and energetic map, charting the terrain of our ancestral inheritance. This forbidden knowledge whispers that certain bloodlines have been purposefully cultivated, their energetic signatures enhanced or altered through ancient rites. These aren't random occurrences, but calculated manipulations designed to imbue specific qualities to serve particular agendas that stretch back to the dawn of civilization. It's a hidden lineage, a secret society of the blood, consciously shaping the destiny of humanity. The implications are profound. Our very identity, our strengths, our weaknesses, may be extensions of wills and intentions that existed long before we drew our first breath. This inherited legacy isn't just a matter of fate, it's a carefully constructed edifice. But what were the ultimate purposes behind this deliberate cultivation of bloodlines? In the next section, we will explore the sacrificial pillars of power, the very structures built upon these blood-bound foundations. When we speak of the great pillars of ancient civilizations, we often imagine grand stone structures, monuments to human achievement. But the true pillars of power were not mere stone and mortar. They were built from something far more fundamental, far more horrific. These were the sacrificial pillars of power, the physical and energetic anchors upon which empires were sustained, drawing their strength from the most profound offerings imaginable. These structures, often hidden in plain sight or disguised as benevolent temples, were conduits for siphoning vast amounts of life force. Imagine them as cosmic battery towers, absorbing and redirecting energy derived from profound acts of sacrifice, both literal and metaphorical. The intent was to solidify dominion, to ensure the perpetual flow of power to a chosen few, by appeasing unseen forces with monumental tributes. The blood spilled at these altars was not merely symbolic, it was an accelerant, a catalyst for channeling immense power. The energy imbued into these structures bound the land, its people, and its future to the will of the ruling elite. It was a brutal, yet effective, method of power consolidation, creating a spiritual infrastructure that ensured obedience and perpetual influence. But these pillars didn't just sustain power, they also served to twist and corrupt its very essence. In the next section, we will examine the inversion of sacred names, how even divine labels were warped to serve these ends. The names of gods, of angels, of fundamental forces are not simply labels. They are vibratory keys, points of direct connection to the divine. When these sacred names are intentionally twisted, inverted, or corrupted, a profound severance occurs, opening a path for a darker, more manipulative influence to take root. This is the essence of the inversion of sacred names, a tactic used to hijack divine power for profane purposes. Imagine the original resonance of a divine name, a pure frequency of creation and light. Now, picture that frequency being deliberately corrupted, its energetic signature flipped, its benevolent intent twisted into something demanding and controlling. This inversion is a form of spiritual alchemy, but performed by shadows, turning wells of light into conduits of darkness, channeling spiritual authority into absolute subjugation. This tactic was not merely about psychological manipulation, it was about reconfiguring the spiritual ecosystem, hijacking the spiritual authority, and repurposing it for the architects of control. By corrupting the names, they corrupted the relationship between humanity and the divine, replacing worship with obedience and connection with enforced subservience. But this deliberate perversion of divinity came at a steep price, a cost that continues to be exacted. In the next section, we will explore the price of inherited power, the ongoing toll of these ancient transgressions. The allure of power is intoxicating, a promise of control and influence that has captivated humanity since the dawn of time. But true power, the kind that endures and corrupts, is not easily acquired. It comes with an invisible, yet devastating, cost. This is the price of inherited power, the perpetual debt that every dynasty, every ruling elite, has had to pay to maintain its grip. It is a burden that transcends personal wealth and extends into the very soul of its inheritors. This isn't a simple financial transaction, it's a karmic ledger, a spiritual balance sheet where every act of dominance, every decree enforced through fear, adds to an insurmountable debt. The power that is inherited is often contaminated, tainted by the sacrifices and manipulations required to establish and maintain it. Generations are thus born into a cycle of paying for the transgressions of their ancestors, their own lives subtly dictated by the need to appease the ancient forces that granted that initial power. The weight of this inherited burden can manifest in myriad ways: a perpetual sense of unease, an insatiable hunger for more control, or a profound alienation from genuine human connection. It's the psychic residue of prolonged spiritual compromise. But this inherited power isn't maintained through brute force or sheer will alone. It relies on a subtler, more intricate mechanism. In the next section, we will uncover the hidden geometry of binding, the mathematical and symbolic architecture of this ongoing control. The universe itself operates on principles of geometry and vibration, perfect laws that govern the dance of stars and the formation of matter. It is no surprise, then, that the most potent forms of control are also built upon a framework of hidden geometry. This isn't about accidental shapes or pleasing aesthetics. We are talking about the hidden geometry of binding, the precise mathematical and symbolic architecture designed to ensnare and direct. Imagine sacred geometry not as art, but as circuitry. These aren't just lines and angles, they are blueprints for creating energetic locks, for constructing resonant chambers that amplify specific frequencies and dampen others. The architects of control understood that by weaving specific geometric patterns into their structures, their rituals, and even their symbols, they could create fields of influence, effectively binding consciousness and directing the flow of energy. These geometric patterns act like invisible cages, subtly influencing perception and limiting the range of thought. They are the silent architects of thought reform, the unseen scaffolding that supports the illusion of freedom. The mastery of this hidden geometry allowed ancient powers to not only build empires, but to construct entire energetic realities. But what is the ultimate value of such meticulously constructed bindings? In the next section, we will explore the chilling concept of the soul as currency and how these bindings are used to exploit it. We often speak of wealth in terms of currency, of dollars and gold. But what if there is a currency far more ancient, far more valuable, one that underpins all other forms of wealth and power? This is the concept of the soul as currency, the idea that our very essence, our life force, is the ultimate commodity within a cosmic economic system designed for exploitation. In this paradigm, the elaborate rituals, the blood pacts, and the hidden geometries are all mechanisms for harvesting and trading this soul currency. The entities and powers that rule from the shadows do not operate on greed in the human sense. They operate on a system of energetic accumulation, and our souls, our consciousness, our life experiences are the raw material from which they derive their sustenance and expand their influence. When our choices are subtly guided, our perceptions manipulated, and our potential suppressed, it is all part of a vast engine designed to generate this soul currency. Every life lived in fear, every dream deferred, every act of unconscious obedience contributes to this grand account. This isn't a transactional exchange in the way we understand it, it's a perpetual harvesting. But this harvesting doesn't occur in a vacuum. In the next section, we will see how these energetic transactions are woven into the very fabric of our lives, in the weaving of destinies. Look closely at the tapestry of your life. Do you see random threads or a pattern deliberately woven? The concept of destiny, of fate, is often presented as something immutable, something beyond our control. But what if destiny is not a grand, cosmic unfolding, but a meticulously crafted fabrication? This is the essence of the weaving of destinies, understanding how ancient powers manipulate the threads of our lives for their own ends. Imagine the individual lives, the choices made, the energies generated as individual threads. These threads are then gathered, manipulated, and woven into a larger tapestry, a collective narrative that serves the agenda of those who control the loom. This weaving utilizes the soul currency harvested from each individual, directing its flow and purpose to reinforce the existing structures of power and control. It's a form of energetic automation, ensuring a predictable and controllable outcome for humanity. This isn't about predestination in the passive sense. It's about active, energetic engineering. The patterns of our lives, our successes, our failures, our loves, and our losses are all integrated into this grand design. They are not simply lived experiences, but contributing factors to the ongoing construction of a controlled reality, a reality designed to perpetuate the cycle. But the ultimate orchestrator of this grand design, the dark star around which these cycles orbit, remains a mystery. In the next section, we will confront the suppressed truth of Saturn, the cosmic entity at the heart of this system. We gaze at Saturn, a jewel in our night sky, a distant orb of ice and gas. But its beauty conceals a profound and terrifying truth, a secret so deeply buried that its revelation can shatter our understanding of reality. This is the suppressed truth of Saturn, a truth that reveals this celestial body not as a passive planet, but as a central hub, a cosmic engine driving the cycles of control and limitation we experience. Saturn is not merely a planet, it is a gravitational and energetic anchor, a point of cosmic resonance that emits a specific frequency. This frequency, often referred to as the ring, is not just a physical phenomenon. It is a vibrational barrier, an energetic enclosure that limits consciousness, perpetuates cycles of suffering, and enforces conformity. Imagine it as a grand, celestial lock, designed to prevent souls from ascending beyond a certain predetermined level. The ancient mythologies, so often dismissed as fairy tales, hinted at this truth. The god Saturn, Kronos, the devourer of time and father of limitations, was not just a myth. He was a personification of this cosmic force, this immense, limiting power emanating from the sixth planet. The sacred geometry, the blood pacts, the soul currency, all are connected to this central, energetic source. But the purpose of this cosmic enclosure is not simply to limit, it is to actively recycle and reintegrate. In the next section, we will explore the cycles of rebirth and death, the mechanism by which this cosmic engine perpetuates its influence. The concept of reincarnation has long been a source of spiritual comfort, a promise of renewal and continued existence. But what if this cycle, so often portrayed as a benevolent journey, is actually a sophisticated mechanism for perpetuating debt and control? This is the chilling revelation of the cycles of rebirth and death, where the very process of coming back to life is entwined with an ancient, unresolved agreement. Each life lived contributes to an energetic ledger, a cosmic balance sheet where debts are accrued and obligations are carried forward. The journey through rebirth is not necessarily a fresh start, but a continuation of previous commitments, a way for the system to ensure that these ancient pacts are honored and that the soul currency continues to flow. The lessons learned, the experiences gained, are often framed within the context of resolving these inherited debts. This recycling of souls, tethered by Saturn's limiting frequency, ensures a perpetual cycle of service and subtle servitude. The fear of not resolving these debts, the inherent desire for spiritual progress, can be manipulated to guide individuals back into fulfilling the requirements of the ancient contracts. It's a self-sustaining system of energetic obligation, but the ultimate enforcement mechanism for these enduring commitments lies in the unseen, the powerful marks that bind us. In the next section, we will uncover the seals of obligation, the invisible imprints that ensure compliance. Imagine invisible chains, not made of metal, but of pure energetic resonance, that bind us to ancient promises and karmic debts. These are the seals of obligation, the subtle, yet ironclad, marks imprinted upon our spiritual signature, ensuring our compliance with the ancient pacts and the cosmic cycles. These seals are not physical, they are vibratory, embedded within our very energetic being. These seals are activated through our experiences, our choices, and sometimes through the actions of our ancestors. They resonate with the frequencies of Saturn's influence, acting as energetic anchors that keep us tethered to specific timelines and predetermined paths. They are the mechanisms that ensure the soul currency continues to be generated and that the cycles of rebirth and debt remain unbroken. The power of these seals lies in their subtlety. Most do not even know they exist, much less that they are being guided by them. They manifest as inexplicable urges, recurring patterns, or a sense of being trapped in a loop, unable to break free from certain life circumstances. They are the invisible conductors orchestrating our journey through this controlled existence. But even as these ancient seals persist, a new form of their influence is emerging. In the next section, we will witness the modern echo of ancient altars and how these age-old practices are manifesting in our contemporary world. The shadows of the past may seem distant, relegated to history books and ancient ruins. Yet, the echoes of those dark rituals, those blood-binding ceremonies, are not confined to antiquity. They have found new altars, new forms of expression in the very foundations of our modern world. This is the modern echo of ancient altars, the chilling realization that the power structures we see today are built upon the same ancient, sacred foundations. Think of the immense corporate structures, the global financial systems, the political arenas. These are the new temples, the modern altars, where power is consolidated and influence is wielded, often through equally opaque and binding agreements. The blood spilled might be symbolic now, replaced by economic sacrifices, the crushing weight of debt, or the surrender of personal sovereignty. The core principle remains: power is secured through profound exchange, often at the expense of intrinsic value. The symbols, the geometry, the hidden hierarchies that underpinned ancient power still persist, albeit in different guises. The manipulation of consciousness, the harvesting of energy, the perpetuation of cycles, these ancient practices are being reenacted in the digital age through pervasive media and sophisticated forms of social engineering. The core mechanism of control has not changed, only its outward appearance. But the awareness of this perpetuation offers a glimmer of hope, a potential path to liberation. In the next section, we will explore awakening from the Crimson Cycle, the personal journey towards breaking free from this ancient, blood-bound inheritance. The Crimson Cycle, the endless repetition of debt, obligation, and controlled rebirth, has held humanity captive for millennia. But the knowledge of this chain, the understanding of its intricate mechanisms, is the first step towards emancipation. This is awakening from the Crimson Cycle, the profound and personal journey of reclaiming sovereignty over one's own energy and destiny. It begins with a deep dive into self-awareness, an honest examination of the inherited patterns and beliefs that have gone unquestioned for generations. It involves recognizing the subtle yet pervasive influence of the Saturnian system, the energetic architecture designed to limit and control. This awakening is not a singular event, but a continuous process of conscious disengagement from the old paradigms. This journey requires courage to confront the uncomfortable truths about our lineage and the energetic contracts that may still be binding us. It involves actively seeking out and embracing higher frequencies of consciousness, cultivating a personal relationship with authentic divine light, and deliberately choosing to live in alignment with one's sole purpose, rather than fulfilling an inherited obligation. The true freedom lies not in escaping the world, but in transforming one's relationship to it, breaking the seals, and reclaiming the essence of one's soul. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We'll see you in the next one.